Okay, so my day starts off with coffee usually, and I've been thinking about it, and really our days, at least mine, has several beverage breaks throughout. So maybe yours is the same. I think we all slow down and have a glass of water, iced tea, coffee, whatever it is that you're drinking, maybe a glass of wine by the end of the day, Diet Coke, all different beverages. So we slow down and enough to get ourselves hydrated to some degree. And that is a really great opportunity to work in sketches. And maybe you don't always draw your beverage, but at least you're sitting and enjoying a beverage at some place. That's a time to sketch. So I was thinking about it and thinking, well, maybe, I'm drawing from life, a beverage is in front of me. Why not sketch the beverage? And maybe I would just have a whole page in my sketchbook just dedicated to those beverages. So, like, my morning coffee might start out by just like, and honestly, it doesn't have to be a perfect sketch. It can be, it's just a time to observe. And this particular takeaway cup I have, or on days like this, when I grab coffee and run out the door, I grab this one with this little rubberized top on it. So this gives me a chance to kind of look at it, and maybe, if you've drawn your coffee before or whatever it is, and you say, okay, that's not exciting me, try looking at it from a different angle. There's another possibility with it. What are you actually seeing? So sketching what you see rather than always what you know. It's tempted to kind of just feel like we know what this is, right? But as I'm looking, even at this, I'm noticing some different things I haven't before. I'm noticing some of those, like the shadow area where this dips down, and then this kind of shape that this makes. So things like that, you're going to want to just really start paying attention to what it is you're looking at, and really letting your eyes do that work. Often we just kind of rely on our brain and our memory and what it's supposed to look like. And that's okay too, because you want to exercise that part, your memory and everything else. But sometimes our brain will tell us we see something we don't. Sometimes we see something and it's not making sense in our drawing. So that's when the brain comes in to say, okay, here's what I can adjust. Here's how I can make it look more believable or whatever it is. I think that's going around more than I'm seeing it. So like, yeah, I just kind of keep looking and noticing and trying to get that that down a little better. That's kind of going out at an angle. I can make adjustments. I can restate lines. We've talked about that. That's getting super dark there, but I'll be able to pick that up with an eraser after, or even this is with my, I'm sketching right now with my Sketch and Wash, so I can always come in with some water as well. So you can just do really sketchy lines like that. I know some people have like really been stuck on how do you actually draw. You can do um, more deliberate lines. So your contour line, and just really be sure of it and draw it and not be so timid about it. You can hold your pencil too. It's another thing I keep meaning to tell you guys. You don't have to hold it way here. When you hold it right here, your hand's on the paper, you're really tight. If you want your hand off the paper sometimes, especially if you're doing any kind of messy medium that's not, that you don't want the oils from your hand getting on the paper so much. So holding, oh, sorry, I'm not showing you. So holding from a distance allows you to be a little bit more deliberate too and not touch your paper so much. So sometimes it's great just to try a different posture, try a different hold on that pencil. So I've got the majority of that cup down. Let's see if we can actually see it all. There we go. Um, and I'm still looking at it and still deciding how much detail do I want to put in. It has this zigzag patterning going around. I can choose to incorporate that. It's got this goofy little cat on the front. Maybe I want to, include that, which I think I do. And again, like if you're drawing a Starbucks cup and you want that insignia or whatever, it doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be perfect, like, because I think I have her positioned wrong, but it's okay. Little cat paw coming up. So just practice. The main thing is like practicing looking at the item and getting it down. So even if like you just leave it at that, that would be perfectly fine. But with this Sketch and Wash pencil, I might want to grab my water brush, for example, and start giving it some value. So, oops, I just had a little bit of something on there. So dragging a little bit of water through some of that pigment. I know this one area where I got too dark over here. I want to pick some of that up maybe. I feel like that part is in shadow. So I can just kind of continue working on it and kind of just depending on what your time is like. If you're in a hurry to get off to work or wherever, you might not always have time, but you do want to get some little sketching in. So give yourself permission just to call it a day at that, or work on it a little bit further. Either way is fine, as long as you make it happen. So that's the main thing, that you did to take the time and you got it that far. Again, you can keep going on it. You can really develop it and start looking at things a little bit closer, noticing things that you didn't notice before. I mean, that's one of the beauties of taking this time to sketch, is noticing like little details. And then thinking about, what do you want to include? You don't have to include everything. Just like I don't have to put all that zigzaggy patterning on. I think it would just get, it might look good, but again, it might be just like kind of cumbersome. I got a shadow coming down underneath where the lid is, just slightly. So I start noticing these things, noticing it's a glass container, so noticing the little bit of reflection, things like that. I can really start picking up and adding in. And where I got too dark on this side, if I want to pick some of that up, I'm putting a little more water on. Again, that is if you are if you're working in watercolor or water brush pencil. You can also erase this kind of water soluble graphite. Once it dries, you can erase it too. So that's another option there, just to let you know. Let's see. So yeah, again, this isn't anything spectacular, but for my morning and to work something in, now I can feel like, oh, good, I got some drawing in today. I like going back and forth with that, with the water soluble graphite, because even when it's wet, or especially when it's wet, you can get some really nice darks with it. If you're going for trying to get darker or more definition, I can keep going back in and playing with it, drawing some pigment down from it for that shadow that I was seeing. And pretty soon this starts taking some shape. And I like the imperfection of it. I mean, honestly, I do. I think, I think it just really lends to that kind of, and it's whatever your style is. If you're looking to get something a lot more photorealistic, this definitely isn't it. But this is what's working for me. And I can even say, if I'm going to do this whole page and call this my morning coffee or whatever, maybe beverages throughout the day, I'll label the page that. Yeah, that could be it. Daily beverages. And then I can come back in next time I take a water break or whatever break, I can put something else on this page. And maybe if I'm doing something else, I'll just turn the page and work on something else, come back to this later. So that gives you one idea of how to work this in. I hope you guys do it.